just note.
Okay.
Just note.
Okay. About
the question is why you would be willing to take a pay cut. What is the motivation that is motivating you to take a pay cut? 2, in your listed assets, you have said you have land and buildings to the amount of about 380 million shillings, and you've said you own a home in Nairobi.
Yes.
Maybe you disclose where this home is in Nairobi, whether it is at Afralty, and whether you own any property that is formerly at Afralty. And I think for me that will be all. Besides, you've been a company secretary, so you could be well positioned to take minutes of cabinet meetings, being secretary to the cabinet. But as you take minutes in cabinet, would you know where Teso South is, in which county it is? Maybe there's something to do with Teso South. Would you know where Teso South is in the Republic of Kenya, in which county, which part of Kenya?
Yes, just to pick it up from where...
Mercy, you'll take 4.
To pick
then
it,
I allow
yes.
you to...
I realize that you are in acting capacity for close to 2 years as DG of Communications Authority of Kenya. I remember around 2019, there was serious turbulence in the boardroom of this organization when the then DG or chairman was leaving, one Francis Wangusi. It was DG. It was DG. Yeah, DG. Yes, DG. And in fact, at some point, the court intervened to even revoke your appointment in acting capacity. So there was too much turmoil. Could you have been the cause of this turmoil? And if it is true, would you be tempted to transfer such possible threats to the public service, mainstream public service? I also realize that you are largely in parastatal, of course. You have never been in the mainstream civil service as we know it. Those who join as DOs rise to DCs and so on and so forth, PSS. So your experience in the mainstream civil service could be limited. How are you equipped to execute this new mandate that is at the heart of the public service? Thank you.
Yes, Junet.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I wanted to ask only one question, which is the nominee was the Secretary of the Communications Authority. Now, as the Corporation Secretary and also as the Acting Director General for the Communications Authority of Kenya, what is your position on the installation of the Device Management System, DMS, that is largely believed to be a surveillance tool on mobile phone networks in the country?
Yes, Owen.
Just a quick question, nominee. Looking at your experience at the Communications Authority, you deal with a board that's not more than 10 people. And probably they are very homogeneous in thinking, and they are all probably sector players. You're going to be secretary to cabinet of 22 people, 24, very diverse, politicians, technocrats, everybody else there, high level of thinking and all kinds of manner. Low level, yes. How are you going to handle the diversity so that we can actually prepare a cabinet secretary to deliver their mandate? Thank you.
Mercy, can you answer those?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll start off with the first question from Honorable Ichongwa on the motivation to take a pay cut. Why would I be willing to take a pay cut when many others are looking for a rise in price? Now, I recognize that I come from the from the parastatal world, the state corporation world, and that this presents different scales from the central government. But I have been in public service all these years, and this indeed represents a growth opportunity for me over the years, and given the kind of investments that we have made as a family, I am able to make the adjustment in order to take this role. Moving to the second question, to disclose the location.
Chair, point of clarification.
Yes, Junet.
Chair, now could we say that under this difficult economic situation in the world, and in Africa, and in Kenya, this is the only nominee in the world who is ready to take a pay cut in the spirit of service? Could we now qualify her like that, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mercy.
I believe this kind of move is not unusual. We have had these kind of cases, particularly where individuals have crossed from sectors that pay more than the public sector. So I think this is not really unusual, in my view. It is not unusual.
Tell him you have a buffer of 475 million.
Sure, I think if she's comfortable, that's what matters.
That's what I'm saying. Tell Junet you have a buffer of 475 million. Have a billion.
Okay. So,
Mercy.
okay, with your permission, I'll move to the second question, which was to disclose the location of the home. I own a home in Lavington on Kabasiran Avenue. And the question was attached to whether I have owned a property in Afralti. Afralti is one of the intergovernmental institutions that is affiliated with the Communications Authority of Kenya. So I do not own a property in Afralti. I own a property in Lavington on Kabasiran Avenue.
Maybe Chair, if Chair allows,
Yes,
was that property at any one time part of the assets owned by Afralti?
No, it wasn't. It was part of the properties that were owned by Communications Authority of Kenya, properties that were disposed in a transparent process about maybe 10 years ago, and this was one of the properties.
So it is property that you own, that you bought from CA?
Yes.
CCK then?
CCK then.
At the time, were you working for CCK?
Yes.
At what level?
I was an assistant director.
How many of you bought those properties?